When Roosevelt was inaugurated on March 4th, 1933, he promised the American people that he would wage war against the emergency. The emergency that Roosevelt spoke of was the Great Depression, which began in 1929. The Great Depression was caused by a variety of factors, the most prominent of which were bank failures across the United States, the stock market crash on Black Tuesday, and the overproduction of goods. The way in which Roosevelt planned to wage war against the emergency was through the inauguration of a series of governmentally funded organizations, which are collectively known as the New Deal. The first New Deal, which encompassed the years 1933 to 1934, was aimed at providing relief, recovery, and reform to the United States. Relief aimed at creating jobs and welfare. Recovery aimed at fixing the economy, and reform aimed at implementing new regulations and permanent programs into the financial system to avoid future depression. The first New Deal created programs such as the Civilian Conservation Corps, which employed single young men to work on federally funded environmental conservation projects, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which ensured citizens that their money was safe in the banks. The second New Deal encompassed the years 1935 to 1938, and its goals were increasing worker protections and long-lasting financial security for the citizens of the United States. The second New Deal included programs such as the Social Security Act, which provided continuous income to retired workers 65 or older. These New Deal programs greatly benefit American society. Organizations such as the Civilian Conservation Corps, enacted under the first New Deal, and the Works Progress Administration under the second New Deal, provided employment to thousands of Americans, alleviating the high unemployment that characterized the Great Depression.
The need for the New Deal primarily arose from the need to revitalize the economy due to the effects of the Great Depression. In order to understand what the New Deal sought to achieve, we must first look at what the primary causes of the Depression were. The causes of the Depression can be attributed to three large categories: bank failures across the United States, the stock market crash during Black Tuesday, and overproduction of goods. First, we have the bank failures. Banks began to fail during the economic downturn of the 1920s. More than 9,000 banks declared bankruptcy without any deposit, and more people pulled their money out of the banks, which sped up the failures of the bank and ultimately cut down on the money supply. Secondly, we have the stock market crash. The Wall Street stock market crash happened in 1929, which caused an unsustainable high stock value. On Black Tuesday, the market dropped by nearly 12%. The crash lowered consumer spending, reduced corporation assets, and worsened the ongoing recession. The third is the overproduction. During the 1920s, factories and farms produced more products than people could afford to buy. As a result, the price dropped and the factories were forced to close and workers were laid off. These are the three main causes of the Great Depression.
The bulk of Roosevelt's work on the first New Deal commenced during his famous First 100 Days. The primary objective of the first 100 days was providing relief to the unemployed. The first 100 days saw the creation of organizations such as the Works Progress Administration, which employed millions of skilled and unskilled workers to carry out public work projects, such as creating parks and building roads. Similar to the WPA was the Civilian Conservation Corps, which employed single men between 18 and 25 to work on improving America's public land, forests, and parks. Before 1935, the New Deal had three main goals: reviving industrial activity, regulating the nation's financial system, and beginning in May 1933, Roosevelt signed the Tennessee Valley Authority Act, allowing the government to build dams along Tennessee River. In order to control the flooding and generate inexpensive hydroelectric power for those living in the southeastern United States. This helped ease the economic turmoil within Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia. During the same months, Roosevelt also signed the Agricultural Adjustment Act into law. This act was designed to increase agricultural prices by reducing surpluses. In order to accomplish this, the federal government subsidized commodity farmers to not plant on part of their land, as well as brought livestock for slaughter from the farmers. The AAA met its desired ends, as subsidized farmers were provided with economic relief and reduced the surpluses and boosted the price of their products.
The New Deal was instrumental in ending the Great Depression and transforming U.S. society. The New Deal created over 20 million relief jobs between 1933 and 1942, and because of this, unemployment dropped significantly. Also, the efforts of groups that relieved unemployment, such as the Works Progress Administration and the Civilian Conservation Corps, were very beneficial to the infrastructure of the United States in restoring America's natural beauty. Financially, the United States economy was revitalized, and by 1933, the real GDP growth had increased by 65% of its Great Depression standing. Additionally, confidence was restored in American banks and the stock market, as many bank deposits became federally insured, and the misleading sales practices and stock manipulations that had led to the Great Depression were remedied. Through the agricultural reforms, the prices of farm commodities were raised, and farmers received economic relief that helped them recover from the Dust Bowl, which was one of the major contributing factors to the Great Depression. Societally, and most importantly, the New Deal created the precedent that the federal government is to be responsible for the well-being of its citizens, a testament that is still debated today. Overall, Roosevelt's New Deal policies helped create, recover, and restore the United States, as well as set the precedent for the future of government and the role of governmental leaders.